Welcome to the very first episode of the Wrong Advice Podcast. I'm your host, John Pachuto. Thanks for coming along. This intro podcast is probably going to be 5 to 10 minutes long. Nothing too crazy. Just wanted to tell you a little bit about myself, a little bit about the podcast, and what you can expect kind of coming forward over the next couple of weeks and months. About a year ago, I tried to start a podcast with my brother. Didn't really work, little thing called the pandemic crept up. We didn't really have time to record. He's a father to two amazing, beautiful daughters. So he's got a lot more things to do on a daily basis than me. So that's kind of how the Wrong Advice Podcast was born, because we didn't really have the time to do the tandem podcast that I had hoped for. Alternate titles to the name of the podcast included the Nobody Asked for This podcast and the John What the Fuck Are You Doing podcast. So why am I here? I don't know, I want to say like 6-7 years ago, I was a contributing writer for a number of online publications, Elite Daily, The Good Men Project, Thought Catalog, a lot of cool places that let me kind of talk about life and love and the different things that I felt about what was going on in my life at the time. One of my articles that I wrote for Elite Daily went a little bit viral. It was pretty cool, but ultimately it gave me some opportunities to do things with Cosmopolitan Magazine, Huffington Post Live, and then really I didn't do any follow-up on that. And it took, this 5 to 7 year period later for me to kind of want to dive back into the media world. I haven't been writing much over the last few years, but I think podcasting is pretty cool. It's something I could do from my house. I can have guests if I want. I can record talking about literally anything I want. And there really is no time like the present. I feel like if the pandemic has taught us about anything, it's that life is incredibly short and we should start doing the things that we want to do with the free time that we have. And I can only watch so many shows on Netflix. So that's kind of how we got here. What can you expect from the podcast? I don't know. I'm going to probably bullshit and ramble about things like life and love and soulmates and relationships and ghosting and sex and, movie recommendations and TV shows and food and pizza and, everything. I don't have a concise vision of what this is going to be yet, but I think that's part of what the fun is going to be in figuring out what this podcast is and what it will mean for me. I'm going to ask people on kind of a weekly basis for advice on stuff and questions and things that they want to hear me talk about. And I think it just will be cool for me to spend some time, talking about life and, kind of what everybody's going through. I don't really have any clear feelings on where this is going to go, but ultimately I just want to be doing something for 20 to 30 minutes on a maybe 2 to 3 times a week basis, where I can come on here and talk about life, talk about my feelings, things that I am interested in, things that are going on and affecting me and the world and my friends. And I just think it'll be something that's nice. It's cool. And it kind of gets me out of my creative funk from a writing perspective, which I haven't done in a while. So thank you for joining me for my brief, quick introduction to the Wrong Advice Podcast. I hope this is a place that you come to often and enjoy listening to. I want to talk about everything here, and I hope you come along for this journey. What I want to do pretty much every episode is give a recommendation at the end of every episode. So it might be a book that I just read, a TV show that I just binged, or a movie that I just watched. So I'm going to always spend probably 1 to 2 minutes every episode, more if I've got a guest host joining me, just giving a recommendation on something that I think people who listen to this will enjoy. And today that is going to be a small 13 to 15 minute YouTube clip by Anna Akana. I don't really want to mispronounce her name, and I apologize if I butchered it. She's an actress, comedian, YouTuber, singer. She's multi-talented, really incredible person. She put a video up in the last couple days, pretty short one, talking about cancel culture. And while I don't think this intro episode is the place to kind of dive into my feelings on cancel culture, I will say Anna did an absolutely incredible job talking about it and detailing what her thoughts are on it and kind of why it exists and where it came from. And I really recommend everyone take 15 minutes out of their day and look at it. She's incredibly talented, really smart, and it's a really interesting take on something that I think is incredibly polarizing and something that is going to probably be discussed on this podcast in the future. So, that's my recommendation for the day, and thank you for joining us on the very first episode of the Wrong Advice podcast. I will be recording a number of upcoming episodes with some guest hosts, some friends of mine who will dial in, be present in the studio, etc. But I'm really looking forward to spending some time talking about life and love and relationships and movies and whatever else I feel like will kind of tickle my fancy from a podcast perspective. So I hope to have more coming soon, and I hope that you guys will join me along. Smash that subscribe button, leave a comment, follow. I'll include all my social media links in the description below. And thanks for the time, guys. Have a great day. Be safe, be healthy, be happy, and look forward to catching you on the next one.